Attention car dealers and or automotive marketing personnel. In this video, I'm going to explain Google Analytics specific for the automotive industry in 5 minutes or less. Let's do it. First and foremost, what is Google Analytics? Google Analytics is a web analytics tool you can use to track and analyze the performance of your website or app. If you want to know how people are getting to your website and how their online digital presence is impacting how you bring in business, this is what you can use as an industry default to help you with that. So we already know pretty much what Google Analytics is. I know most of us do. But now I want to uncover an important definition. Universal Analytics versus Google Analytics 4, what's the difference? So Google Analytics 4 is the main source of analytics as of July of this year. We are no longer looking at Universal Analytics for any data at all. But I want to quickly explain what the difference is. While Universal Analytics GA3 tracks website visitors based on cookies, Google Analytics 4 uses an event-driven data model. This means that instead of tracking page views and sessions, it tracks individual events such as clicks, page scrolls, video plays, and more. So the difference being the Google Analytics 4 is more focused on events, which is good. Despite what you may hear in the industry, that is a good thing because that means we are specifically honed in on tracking events that are important to the business. And I'm going to define those loosely in just a few minutes. But let's keep that thought in mind. So, just a quick thing. What is a session? A session is a group of user interactions with your website or app that takes place within a given time frame. As an example, I go onto a website today, and then I go onto it later tonight. That's 2 sessions, even though I'm only one user, okay? Now, an event is different. An event allows you to measure a specific interaction or occurrence on your website. Let's take the same example. I go to the website today, and I do nothing, right? And then I go to the website later this evening, and then I end up filling out a form. That would count as 2 sessions, but 1 event, if we're only defining one event like a form submission. So that's the big difference. And we want to make sure we're tracking events as particularly as possible. But before we get into that, let me show you just how to sign in. If we look up analytics.google.com, that is going to allow us to sign in to Google Analytics. And just note that you have to be in the specific Gmail or Google-powered email that's going to allow you to see the appropriate Google Analytics profile. You need to have a specific Google associated email or a Gmail that is linked to your Google Analytics in order to be able to see it. So now when I click analytics.google.com, I'm going to show you exactly where it takes me. So when I click analytics.google.com, for me, this is what shows up. Most likely, you're going to be directed to the homepage report, which gives you some nice broad overview metrics, but I don't spend a lot of time here. Where I recommend you to spend the most amount of time, or your default go-to report, is actually what's called the user acquisition report. It can be found under reports, and depending upon how this is organized for you, I find it under acquisition and user acquisition. It might be a little bit different, but it should be pretty easy to find. So just note user acquisition. Why I like this report, I explain thoroughly in more videos, but the basics is it's because it tells me how the actual marketing channels that are bringing users to my website are acting, how they're performing, and what that really means for my business. What I usually do first and foremost is I select a date range that's a month to date through yesterday. So in this example, I'm going to select 1st to the 24th. Then I'm going to come down to this first user primary, and I'm going to select first user source medium because that's the way I like to view it. It gives me a more specific classification. As I scroll down to my table, I'm going to look at all my different first user source mediums. And this I like to spend the most amount of time in because it gives me the most amount of insight. Of course, you can look at the graph or the chart here. On the most left-hand side, we're going to start with new users because this is the amount of people coming to the website. But as we scroll to the right, it's going to tell me more and more about what those users are doing by channel that's important to me, following up by key events. Key events are really important. Remember when I remarked about events? So events can be anything like a video view, a page scroll, a click, or whatever. But a key event in our situation would be a lead form submission, a phone call interaction, a chat engagement, so on and so forth. All those are extremely important to the overall automotive marketing business, right? We want to get customers. Those key events are super important. Now, if you'd like for me to define that more, let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to show you what my key events look like. Other really good reports are the events report, because it's going to tell you all the events that you're tracking. Another good one is the landing page report, because that's going to tell you where your users are coming to the most. And then finally, another pretty useful report is the tech report, meaning where users are coming from as far as device, mobile or desktop. This has been Google Analytics explained in 5 minutes-ish for car dealers. This is David Feldman-Makrias. If you have any comments, please leave them, and I'll talk to you real soon.